Hi everyone, Andrew Beso here. And last week, I asked a poll question in IG and Facebook story. The question is, should Leni Robredo start playing dirty? And it's a yes or no question, but the majority of the respondents said no. Na wag siya mag-play dirty. And there are a couple of my friends na who gave reasons for their answer. One friend of mine commented na, no, let the dogs be dirty. Ano ba tong dog na to? But there are still those who said yes, na kahit minority sila. And I do get them. If you are a supporter of Leni Robredo, you've also been a witness of how she is being targeted and attacked by a lot of trolls and by Duterte himself for the past 5 years. So I wanted to contextualize. I wanted to specify. Now, try to answer this question. Should Leni Robredo start utilizing a troll army? It's a yes or no question, and that's what I'm going to answer in this video essay, where I'm going to explore the yes and the no of that situation, and I'm going to reveal my personal answer at the end. I'm Andrew Beso, and thank you for visiting my YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please click subscribe. I discuss contents covering these 4 topics, and this one is heavy on social issues because 2022 election is coming, and we're not even sure if Leni Robredo is going to run. Pero if you're like me who has made it a noble duty to give a ray of hope to everyone you know online, automatic ka nag-share or nagla-like, nagko-comment sa lahat ng content that involves Leni Robredo, then we are coming from the same place. But unfortunately, it's an echo chamber. But to be totally honest, may hidden agenda rin ako kung bakit ginagawa yun. I'm not just there to celebrate the good service and leadership na ginagawa ni Leni Robredo. I also do that para man lang makita ng mga friends or relatives ko na unfortunately mga DDS or apathetic lang in the political scene na merong isang Leni Robredo na ginagawa yung trabaho niya ng maayos. And in many times, naniniwala kasi sila sa mga fake news na pinapublish about her. And matutuwa naman ako kasi I always get positive feedback or a lot of engagement sa mga sinishare ko. Ang daming shares, ang daming likes, which means na okay, people are agreeing with me. But then, the day that you admit that the pro-Leni Robredo online space that you are feeling na nararamdaman mo is just a social media bubble of a small group of people, that will be the time that you will be entertaining the question. It's an uncomfortable question. Should Leni Robredo start playing dirty and just hire a troll army? Well, if you still haven't thought about that, then maybe the recent Pulse Asia poll could open your eyes. When asked who people would vote for in 2022 elections, the results showed that she wasn't even part of the top 5. Pang-anim pa nga siya. Mas mataas pa ang rating ng other candidates like Sara Duterte, Bongbong Marcos, and Manny Pacquiao. It felt jarring to see these numbers kasi hindi ito nagmamatch sa reality na nakikita ko. What we usually see online are a lot of the efforts of Leni Robredo to keep this government running. We can see that a lot of people are loving her. But that's the problem, the we here. Ikaw, itong kausap ko most likely, are just a small group of people who are supporters of Leni Robredo. We are just a small chunk in the voting population. This exposes the same problem of low awareness ratings that she had in the 2016 campaign period. Pero back then, dahil yun kasi baguhan lang naman siya. Pero now, the reason kaya mababa ang rating niya is she refuses to dignify and engage sa mga trolls. And these keyboard warriors utilize different weapons from memes, fake news, spliced video interviews, and photoshopped images. And this well-crafted narrative is being shoved in the mouth of the Filipino population, and in my conclusion, that is the reason kaya ganun yung resulta ng survey. Actually, this problem is the reason why Leni Robredo is hesitant on running as the president for the 2022 election. She hasn't declared yet kung tatakbo ba siya talaga. Hopefully she does. But a Rappler source disclosed that if we compare how many people online are being reached by OVP's official page versus the disinformation campaign run against her, it's 1:10. Ganun kalaki yung difference. So if winning is the goal in 2022 and you have these very low figures, magtataka ka talaga na baka kulang yung ginagawa mo ngayon. And comparing that to the social media mileage that Duterte has, it's no surprise that his daughter, Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte, siya yung nag-number 1 sa survey ng Pulse Asia. And tinanong din kung sino gusto nilang vice president, at ang nag-number 1 din ay si Rodrigo Duterte. So president paging vice president siya. This, many believe, can be attributed to what their camp is willing to use that Robredo's team has been dismissing, a troll army. An Oxford study found that Duterte's presidential campaign team spent around 10 million pesos to hire cyber troops to spread pro-government propaganda and conduct smear campaigns against the opposition in 2016. And also, a special report said that Duterte supporters have call center hubs to target media companies or journalists na critical sa mga actions ng government. So it's a very tempting idea. Could the answer to this dilemma just be a counter troll army? And no, I don't mean reporting fake news, flagging troll pages, or blocking cyberbullies because ginagawa na natin to for the past 5 years. But it's not leading to a permanent solution. Back in April 2020, Twitter suspended hundreds of fake accounts that were suspiciously duplicating content and hashtags that express support to Duterte. Pero alam naman natin na kung gaano kabilis at kung gaano kadali gumawa ng mga bagong Twitter accounts after that. The Vice President herself even admitted that she regretted na sinabihan niya yung team niya sa Office of the Vice President na wag mo nang patulan o wag mo nang pansinin ang mga trolls on the first 2 years of her term. Pero ang masama doon, yung black propaganda na overshadow yung actual work na ginagawa niya as Vice President, and the black propaganda is what all people can see. Since then, we have seen a more vocal and visible Leni Robredo giving tasteful clapbacks every time she's on the receiving end sa mga pambabash ni Duterte and his minions. The OVP team has already improved their social media presence about their programs as they acknowledge na there will always be skeptics and cynics if people can't see receipts online. This is the decente politics that the Liberal Party, which VP Leni chairpersons on, has been espousing. It sounds nice, but this approach is ineffective considering na hindi natin na-meet yung numbers na kailangan natin. Sino ba dito ang kasama ko na disappoint na wala man lang sa 8 diretso candidates ang nakapasok sa Magic 12 ng senators in the 2019 elections? There is a power imbalance between the Duterte administration's use and abuse of state machinery and troll army and Leni Robredo's insistence on decent and respectable politicking. Not only is there a lack of any offensive strategy in the online space by Robredo's team to highlight the failures of the president, but their defense mechanism seems pointless because the people who needed to hear her side, see what she's doing, are not even being reached online. Sige, tuwang-tuwa tayo na nadidibang lagi ni Leni Robredo kung ano yung mga fake news na lumalabas sa kanya. But the very people who needed to hear that, who needed to be convinced, hindi nila nakikita yun. Entering in the political arena inherently means you're getting into one messy fight. But with how the cyberspace became a crucial factor in campaigning in recent times, it seems Leni is not even on the same playing field with Duterte anymore. So kung tatakbo talaga siya as president in 2022, I can't help but wonder if having a troll army could provide a solution or at least a counterbalance to the online black propaganda aimed at her. Naturally, if you're one of the politicians gunning for the presidency, you would be preparing your weapons and bullets for any contender. At ang hot target is Leni Robredo. And with that, Leni Robredo is just a sitting duck. Pero wait, indulge me for a little bit. Patulan natin ang idea. If magkakaroon man siya ng isang hired troll army, what do I think is the most likely mode of operation ng isang troll army under Robredo? It's reasonable to believe that violating any law is not something a lawyer turned state leader would even consider. Sana all. So slander or libel or yung mga fake news or any criminal act is out of the picture. Pero kahit na wala namang shortage sa mga criticisms na pwedeng ibato kay Duterte at sa mga minions niya, di naman kailangan magsinungaling para ma-point out yon. But the packaging should not only be done in debates and public fora, we have to engage the DS trolls in the language they speak and to the territory they occupy. And they are memes and the online space respectively. But there's a big risk in this approach. It's possible that instead of reclaiming what democracy should really be, the unintended consequence of engaging on this level could mean election discourse morphing into a mosh pit of divisiveness and hate na mas malala pa kaysa sa nakita natin for the past 5 years. Because what's stopping a Robredo supporter from submitting to character assassinations? Would they also disrupt and swamp the other candidates' Facebook pages? Actually, honestly, nakikita ko na itong ginagawa ng mga ibang friends ko. As in, if they use a troll language, papatulan nila ng mas malala pa. And that happens na hindi to organized work. What more pa kaya if magkaroon ng isang official and paid Leni Robredo troll army? Pitting the two troll armies against one another will be an online warfare that is going to damage the social fabric. After a few years of Duterte politics and the DDS troll army turning the Philippines into a broken country that we have today, Leni Robredo doing the same thing could further normalize it for everyone. And Leni Robredo herself, the bastion of hope during the Duterte regime, if she ended up doing the same thing, it would be taken as a seal of approval. And mind you, she could still lose the election. And ultimately, if that happens, she had lost her integrity and character as well. That is the opportunity cost that I am seeing here. The biggest casualty of troll warfare is completely losing our sense of democracy because the very person who has been safeguarding it for the longest time decided to compromise. So, yes or no, should Leni Robredo utilize a troll army? If you say yes, know that I completely understand where you're coming from. Hindi siya madaling desisyon, pagod na tayo, nagsasawa na tayo, gusto na natin talagang patulan. Sinubukan naman natin silang i-engage ng maayos. But it's futile when you're talking to someone following a script kasi binabayaran sila to do it. If you are seeing this as a viable option, you have to factor the actual cost of hiring a troll army. And Leni Robredo admitted that campaign budget is also a big factor kung ba't hindi siya makapag-decide on running as a president. Pero para saan ito yung pinaka-crucial? You also have to consider the opportunity cost. How are we going to handle the Philippines that we will be welcoming post-2022 elections na ganito yung nangyari? How do we do damage repair? How do we justify and sanitize to all the people na ganito yung course of action na ginawa natin? Pwede ba natin bawiin na, sorry, kailangan lang namin gawin, pagpasensyahan nyo na. Parang mahirap naman kasi i-convince yun. Most likely, the opposition is going to use it against her na, kita nyo, ganyan din pala siya. Anong defense natin doon? But if you're like me, yes, this is my personal answer. If you also say no to this, then we have to acknowledge that we are not on a higher moral ground compared to those who said yes. Because it's a choice between better winnability versus staying true to your principles. And winning is a good thing because it means ending the tyranny. Now, isn't that the best outcome? Both goals are equally important. But nonetheless, if you preclude Leni Robredo from hiring trolls, know that it means more work for her. And we have to take our share of the burden. Just because we want to feel good about ourselves by pushing Leni to keep everyone's morals intact doesn't mean she has to do this solo. Kasi pag ganun, very selfish na i-expect natin yun from her. Kaya na sige, campaign ka lang, boboto kami, ikaw boboto namin, ikaw na bahala sa pag-handle ng trouble. That's not how it works. There's real action needed if you want her to win. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who has volunteered for someone in election, who has campaigned for yung mga bet nating candidates. But you have to understand this. The kind of volunteerism we've been doing before is no longer enough. If you volunteered for Leni Robredo when she was running for VP, it won't suffice for 2022. She will be facing trolls that are paid to work for at least 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. They have varying skills and they could deliver different media output, memes, anecdotes, edited videos and images, and even down to publishing fake news. They have a wide network of micro-influencers and a good knowledge of how social media algorithm works. So with that, sa tingin mo ba, enough na ba yung pagre-repost, pag-share, pag-change ng mga profile pictures, or paggagamit ng hashtag? That won't be enough. There are a lot of research and news articles published para malaman natin kung paano tumakbo ang isang troll farm. And with that, you should calibrate your commitment level na kaya mong tapatan kung ano yung ginagawa nila. And we have to convince others to do the same. Should Leni Robredo run as president in 2022? Let's hope she does. Iparamdam natin sa kanya na malaki ang support system niya. She will not just be running against other candidates. She will be facing a massive troll army. We ask her to be on the front line, but will you stand by her throughout the war? This is Andrew Beso, and thank you for watching my video. If you like content like this, then I hope you like and subscribe. And sa lahat ng mga content na pinuputat ko, whether it's a video essay or a written work, merong mga shared links below. It's on the comment section or in the bottom part of my blog post. You can also consume these content because it helps you understand the issue better. And it could give you other aspects and other angles that you can look into. So check out my other content in my YouTube channel and also on my blog. Thank you, and kita-kita sa campaign for 2022. Bye!